April 30th, 1945. The war is ending, but in the forests north of Berlin, silence still kills. A Soviet truck grinds to a stop on a dirt road blanketed with ash. The soldiers step down slowly, rifles raised, eyes scanning through the fog. They expect gunfire. They find nothing, only the smell. It seeps through the trees before the camp even appears. Sweet, chemical, and rotten. The first man to reach the gates doesn't speak. He just stares. Behind rusted barbed wire lies a wasteland of bone and cloth. Barracks half collapsed, chimneys still smoking. A child's doll, charred and missing an arm, lies near the mud-filled ditch. Flies swarm over it like black snow. When the Soviets push open the iron gate, the hinge screams like a living thing. Inside, they see movement, women, hollow-eyed and barely breathing, rising from piles of straw. Their faces are grey. Their bodies, weightless. One soldier whispers in Russian, "Hell itself." Another crosses himself. They had been told they were liberating a labor camp. Instead, they've stepped into a graveyard built for the living. Ravensbrück. A woman crawls toward them, clutching a torn blanket around her shoulders. She tries to speak, but no sound comes out. Her lips are too dry to form words. Behind her, hundreds of others lie still, some blinking, some gone. The wind shifts. From the open crematorium door, a column of black smoke twists upward and dissolves into the grey sky. They thought they'd seen hell, the voice says quietly. They hadn't. Before the Soviets ever reached that gate, the story began 6 years earlier, with ink on a blueprint. 1938. Heinrich Himmler stands before a map of Germany, tracing a finger north of Berlin. He wants a new kind of camp, one built for women. Not a place of battle, but obedience. Brick by brick, the SS engineers design it beside a quiet lake called Ravensbrück. Nature surrounds it, pine forests, still waters, perfect camouflage for a machine of pain. By May 1939, the first transport arrives, 867 women from Lichtenberg. Political prisoners. Social workers. Housewives. Anyone who spoke too loudly. They're stripped, shaved, and handed grey rags that smell of lye. On their chests, triangles of color mark what the Reich thinks of them, red for political, black for asocial, purple for religious. Each morning, the gates clang open at 4:30 a.m. The roll call lasts for hours. The guards, all women themselves, trained to kill empathy, bark orders until the air fills with coughs and the crunch of frozen dirt. Within months, the population doubles. Then triples. By 1942, Ravensbrück becomes the nerve center of the female concentration camp system. From here, SS overseers are trained and sent to other camps. It's not just a prison anymore. It's a factory, feeding slave labor to Siemens and Daimler, sewing uniforms, assembling shells for the front. At night, the lake reflects torchlight from the watchtowers. The guards laugh, smoke, and flirt with SS officers while screams echo from the punishment yard. Behind the illusion of discipline lies chaos, disease, starvation, and the constant shuffle of wooden clogs on concrete. It wasn't built for death, but death moved in anyway. The trains never stop. By 1940, the line of cattle cars stretches across the horizon, grinding toward Ravensbrück from every corner of occupied Europe. Inside them, women of every kind. French resistance fighters. Polish teachers. Czech nuns. Jewish mothers clutching their daughters. The journey lasts days, sometimes weeks. No food. No water. Just the rattle of metal and the smell of fear. When the doors finally slide open, they step out into blinding light. SS guards shout in German. Dogs bark and lunge. The women stumble into mud, their shoes already gone, their hands trembling from cold. At the gate, a sign reads, albeit marked "Frei, work sets you free." But even the newcomers sense the lie. The stench of burning hair lingers in the wind. They are marched into the sorting yard. One by one, their names are erased. Rings, necklaces, family photographs, all thrown into a metal bin. A guard's whip cracks when someone hesitates. Hair is shaved off. Clothes are taken. The women stand naked before strangers, stripped not only of decency but of identity. Then come the numbers. Stamped. Recorded. Replaced for names that will never be spoken again. That night, hundreds lie awake in wooden bunks stacked 6 high. The floorboards groan with every breath. A Polish teacher whispers a prayer. Beside her, a young woman named Greta from Oslo stares at the ceiling, counting the seconds between screams from the next block. In the darkness, a single light bulb flickers above the door. The SS guards pass by, boots echoing on the concrete. Somewhere outside, the crematorium hums like an idle machine. They didn't know what Ravensbrück was, but they would soon learn what it meant to disappear. In Ravensbrück, hunger isn't an accident, it's policy. Every morning begins with roll call. Thousands of women stand motionless in the freezing wind, counted again and again until someone collapses. The guards keep counting. If one woman faints, everyone stays. Sometimes for hours. Breakfast comes after, a tin cup of black water they call coffee. By noon, a thin slice of bread. Dinner, cabbage soup, thick with worms. That's all. Each day, the same. Each week, fewer women survive. The SS understand hunger as science. Weak bodies obey faster. Starved minds stop thinking. The rations are calculated to keep the women barely alive, just long enough to work. Inside the Siemens factory block, hundreds sew uniforms until their fingers bleed. Others haul stones for new construction. The punishment for slowing down? No food. The punishment for stealing food? Death. Some women trade anything they have for a crust of bread, a blanket, a comb, even a wedding ring smuggled from home. A handful of soup can mean life for one night. One survivor would later write, "We stopped dreaming of freedom. We dreamed of potatoes." Disease spreads faster than rumor. Typhus, dysentery, lice. The infirmary overflows, but medicine is for the guards. Prisoners are told to rest, which means being dragged to Block 25, the death ward. And yet, in this engineered starvation, defiance flickers. Women share crumbs, whisper prayers, and pass stolen food hand to hand under the bunks. For some, it's faith. For others, revenge, to stay alive just one more day than the Rye wants them to. The body starves, but the will still fights. In the winter of 1942, the trucks came at night. The women inside were told they were being transferred, a lie wrapped in silence. They were taken to Block 32, locked inside, and renamed by numbers written on paper tags. The SS doctors arrived in white coats that smelled of disinfectant and tobacco. Among them, Dr. Karl Gebhardt and Dr. Fritz Fischer, men who called themselves surgeons, but whose theater was death itself. They began with the Polish prisoners, young women who had once been students, nurses, sisters. They were chosen for medical research. The guards nicknamed them Kaninchen, the rabbits. Without anesthesia, their legs were cut open with scalpels. Muscles sliced. Bones broken. Dirt and glass rubbed into the wounds to simulate battlefield infections. Others had bones removed entirely or injected with bacteria. Afterward, the incisions were sewn shut with black thread. Screams echoed down the corridor. Guards played music to drown them out. Some of the women survived the first round. Many didn't. Those who lived were forced to stand at roll call the next morning, bleeding through their bandages. The ones who couldn't stand were dragged away. Weeks later, the doctors returned to measure healing progress. X-rays, photographs, notes. Their results would later appear in SS journals as medical breakthroughs. But in the shadows of the barracks, the surviving rabbits formed a secret pact. If the SS tried to kill them, they would expose everything, even if it cost their lives. In one act of defiance, the healthy women hid the wounded under straw and swapped uniforms during searches. Their courage saved at least a few. They called it science, but Ravensbrück called it what it was, torture in a lab coat. By early 1945, the world outside was collapsing. The Allies were closing in, the Rye was bleeding, but inside Ravensbrück, the killing only accelerated. Transports arrived daily. Thousands of new women, many from Auschwitz and the death marches, stumbled through the gates. There was no room left in the barracks. No food. No names to record. Only numbers. Then came the order. A new structure was to be built at the edge of the camp, small, square, and made of brick. The SS called it a showers facility. The prisoners knew better. Inside, a single steel door sealed from the outside. Holes drilled in the ceiling. Pipes installed that carried not water, but Zyklon B. The first gassing took place in February 1945. The victims were mothers and children too weak to work. Their screams lasted 3 minutes. Then silence. Word spread fast, but no one dared speak. The crematorium next door burned day and night. Smoke drifted across the lake where the guards once picnicked. The ash settled on the snow like grey rain. Even the SS women grew restless. Some drank heavily. Others vanished, reassigned, replaced, or rumored shot for disobedience. The prisoners sensed the end, but not salvation, only exhaustion. In the final weeks, the camp spiraled into chaos. Executions, beatings, random shootings. The air itself seemed poisoned. And then, orders to destroy evidence. Files burned. Photos shredded. But the gas chamber could not be erased. The bricks still smelled of cyanide. On April 30th, 1945, the SS fled. They left behind 3,000 living women and 30,000 dead. It wasn't liberation, it was survival, by accident. When the Soviets entered Ravensbrück, the guards were gone. The gates hung open, creaking in the wind. The women who could still walk gathered near the roll call square, staring at the soldiers in disbelief. Some tried to salute. Others simply fell to their knees. For many, freedom came too late. Within days, hundreds died, their bodies too broken to recover. Those who survived spoke in whispers. They scavenged bread from Soviet rations, shared it like communion, and buried their dead beside the lake where it had all begun. One survivor wrote, "We were free, but empty. We no longer remembered how to speak without fear." In the weeks that followed, Soviet medics documented what they found: the ashes, the experiments, the instruments left behind. Photos of bones, journals filled with numbers. But most of the SS had already vanished. Only a few, like Camp Commandant Fritz Suren, would later be caught and executed. At the Nuremberg doctors' trial, the Ravensbrück experiments were presented as evidence. The rabbits testified, their scars speaking louder than any words. Yet after the war, Ravensbrück faded from memory. It was not like Auschwitz or Dachau. There were no famous photographs, no film reels. Only testimonies. Only silence. Today, the camp is gone. In its place stands a memorial by the lake, a stone woman, tall and defiant, her gaze fixed beyond the water. She holds the ashes of the nameless, and in her stillness, the story continues. They tried to erase them, but every silence that followed, every gust of wind through Ravensbrück's pines, carries their names. Ravensbrück, over 130,000 women imprisoned. Tens of thousands never returned. The silence remains their witness.